That's it, he said loudly without explanation. He stopped walking suddenly and stared blankly into the distance for about half a second. Then, just as suddenly, he uttered, "No, that's not it," and resumed pacing. They traveled in silence the rest of the day, stopping only when they came to a cool, familiar spring. Each took turns filling their water skins. "Finally," Brund said, casting off his pack. "This is the place." "No," Fane said. "Grab your pack. We have to keep going." "I'm with Brund," Forn said. "It is quite good," Farsythe said. "The forest is too thick for anything to get close on almost every side, and the path forward winds downhill, giving us strategic advantage if we need it." "Fine," Fane said, plopping down where he stood. They stared at him for a moment. He still looked to be lost and troubled in his thoughts. He noticed this time. "Go on, get everything unpacked." No one objected. While everyone else helped unpack and set up, Fane sat. He didn't move until the fire was lit, and then he bolted up. He strode over to it and quickly cast a spell to disperse the smoke. He called winds both thick and gentle. They grasped the smoke and carried it off in every horizontal direction. This dispersion made the smoke so faint that it was barely visible to the naked eye. He then began chanting and pacing around the perimeter, casting a spell of alarming. After that, he plopped down once more, this time surprisingly near his companions. "Look all," Brund said, "this night we be truly blessed. We've been deemed worthy for such company as Fane the Fair." Fane looked up when he heard his name. "It's cold," he said. Then he went back to gazing into the flames. The night was cold. Extra cold. The fittingness of that was not lost on him. He sensed the heavy hand of fate pressing down upon them. The trick was how to survive when pressure reached its end, as it always did. Brund frowned. Then he changed the subject, leaving Fane to himself. The conversation sparked into life, becoming far louder than Fane would have liked if he were listening. He heard none of it. Not their jokes, not their theories, not their stories. Nothing. "It was abyssal," Sharn said coarsely, breaking his concentration. "Excuse me?" Fane asked. She was staring at him from the other side of the fire. Her face looked warped, immediately filling him with a deep discomfort. "The words you spoke," she said. Her eyes fixed on his, piercing him, cutting him. They were in the abyssal tongue, the tongue only uttered by the darkest of creatures. Her eyes were glowing red. The demons from the far realms, realms of darkness and fire and death. Her voice was growing more and more coarse and steadily increasing in volume as she spoke. "All is just as before, Fane. Awake, awake." She was yelling now. Her face was tilted in an awkward way that denied all normal human contortions. Fane tried to act. He had to stop her from speaking, stop her from looking at him. He urged his muscles to move, to cast a spell as he always did to escape such uncomfortable situations. "Not this time," the girl said, smiling. Her smile was too wide. "You can't run away from me." The girl's neck began elongating, extending toward him through the flames like a demonic serpent. "You can't hurt me." Her mouth opened to the full width of her face, and Fane saw endless rows of razor-sharp teeth. At their center lay an endless black abyss, but all the time, she somehow never ceased to speak. "Taste of life while you still can, for lost is your right hand, and soon enough, though true you be, death will bring you swift to me. As you waste away, you'll see. There is no escape from destiny." Silence fell upon everything, heavier even than the terror that overwhelmed him. Her face was charred and cracking, nearly touching his own. A twisted, forked tongue as black as the pit it emerged from crossed the threshold of teeth and seethed toward his face. It touched his cheek, searing it as it slid along it. The whole of her body was turning gray and parts of it were falling off, drifting away like ash. Soon, was the last word she said as his eyes opened. Everyone, including the girl, were deep in conversation as if nothing had occurred. But Fane heard nothing. Had he been asleep? Was that real? His face stung where the tongue had touched him. A rush of sound returned, and the silence was broken by Brun's deep laughter. It washed over him. He wiggled his fingers. Finally, he could move. He jumped to his feet. The talking slowly quieted as everyone began watching his odd behavior. "Is there something on my face?" he asked. They shook their head no. He turned to rummage in his purple bag again. This time he pulled out an oval mirror with a tarnished silver handle. A mirror of true sight. He looked at his cheek. Nothing. But then the image in the mirror began to change. A black line revealed itself along his cheek where tongue had touched his face. He touched it. Rotted. Powerful dark magic. Necrotic damage to the tissue. It would not heal without powerful counter-magic. He turned to the others with urgency. "We have to leave this place." Nobody moved. "We have to leave this place now," he said. "Why?" Ford asked. "We just finished setting up." "We're just finally getting settled in," Brun said. "Just because you already got some rest doesn't mean the rest of us don't get any. Besides, you interrupted a fine story Sharn was telling us. I would think it is one you yourself would be interested in hearing. Before she was captured by those things, she said she was attacked by what she swears was a demon." Fane's eyes widened. "We can't leave now anyway," Sharn said. "Your friend went to scout the area in hopes of bringing back a meal for us." Fane looked around. Farsythe was nowhere to be seen.